Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That was Carl Jung's warning. And here's the brutal paradox you keep running into. You think you want her, but what you're really starving for is the version of yourself that disappeared the moment you handed away your self-respect. You sit there convinced she's the answer, that if only she texted back, if only she smiled your way, if only she chose you, then suddenly life would feel complete. But stop. Look in the mirror. What you're craving isn't her. It's the man you used to be before you sold yourself out for scraps of her attention. Do you even remember him? The one who could spend hours building, training, working because his mission mattered more than a notification on his phone. The one who didn't orbit around one girl like she was the sun. Somewhere along the line, you traded him for a weak imitation. A boy who waits, who begs, who checks his phone every 5 minutes like it's a slot machine. Here's the truth you don't want to admit. Women are mirrors, not medicine. They don't fix you. They only reflect you back at yourself. If she looks bored, disinterested, cold, it's because you've become boring, desperate, and needy. He didn't ghost you, you ghosted your own discipline. She didn't reject you. She revealed the cracks in the identity you abandoned. Picture this. A guy sits at 3 a.m., staring at her Instagram, scrolling her pictures like they hold some hidden code to happiness. He tells himself he wants her, but what he's actually aching for is the man who used to be asleep at 3 a.m. Because tomorrow's training, tomorrow's grind, tomorrow's purpose mattered more than a digital illusion. That's what he's lost. That's what he secretly wants back. Ask yourself, when did you decide that her yes meant more than your own? When did you decide your worth could be measured by the curve of her smile? Do you see the insanity? You keep searching for validation outside while the only validation that ever mattered is the one you stripped from yourself. So let me cut through the fog with a rule you can tattoo on your brain. If he chases her picture, you chase your purpose. If he wastes nights writing paragraphs to prove his value, you waste nothing. You build, you sharpen, you grind. Because the man with purpose doesn't wait for her to choose him. He chooses himself every damn day. This is the flip that hurts. She was never the missing piece. She was never the crown. You were the crown all along, and you dropped it the second you begged for her approval. That's why nothing works. That's why you keep coming up empty. The hunger you feel isn't for her love. It's for the self-respect you lost along the way. So here's the punchline. You don't miss her. You miss you. The man who stood tall, who carried silence like armor, who didn't ask for permission to be valuable. And until you resurrect him, until you make the unconscious conscious, you'll keep confusing addiction with affection, obsession with love, and weakness with fate. Every time you think you're chasing her, you're lying to yourself. You're not chasing love. You're chasing the fragments of your own strength that you abandoned the moment you made her approve of your oxygen. Look closer. That hunger in your chest, it's not for her smile. It's for the backbone you once had, the discipline you threw away, the silence you used to own. When did you forget that? When did you decide she was the missing piece, instead of realizing you were the missing piece all along? A man I knew used to grind every morning. Gym at dawn, work by 8, discipline tight. Then he met a girl. Within weeks, he skipped training, skipped meals, skipped focus. He swore it was love. No, it was self-abandonment dressed up as romance. She didn't break him, he broke himself. He didn't lose her. He lost his mission. She didn't control him. He handed her the steering wheel. That's the pattern you keep repeating. So here's your rule. If he trades purpose for attention, you double down on purpose until attention is irrelevant. If he bends, you build. If he waits for her text, you create something worth her noticing without ever asking. Ask yourself, Do you actually want her? Or do you just want the man you used to be before you became needy? Do you want her touch? Or do you want the fire you once carried that made you magnetic without trying? The brutal truth is this: attraction isn't a tactic, it's identity. She responds to who you are, not to the games you play. Until you reclaim the self you forgot, every obsession with her is just a mirror reflecting the man you left behind. You keep telling yourself you want her. You imagine that her attention, her yes, her approval will finally fill that hole you've been carrying around like dead weight. But let me strip away the illusion. You don't want her. You want the version of you that existed before you started begging. Think back. Before the late night texts. Before you bent over backward to prove your worth. There was a man who didn't orbit around one woman's mood. A man who wasn't reduced to waiting for a reply. That man didn't chase. He built. He moved with purpose. He slept like a warrior because he knew the next day mattered. That's who you've lost, not her. Women are mirrors. They don't create desire. They reflect it. They don't hand you a crown. They simply show you if you're already wearing one. Look carefully when you stare at her. You're not really seeing her. You're staring at the reflection of the man you abandoned. That's why you ache so much. Picture this. A guy lies in bed at 3 a.m., phone glowing in the dark, scrolling her Instagram. He zooms in on pictures, re-watches her stories, imagines conversations. He swears he wants her. But what he really misses is the man who used to be asleep at 3 a.m. because tomorrow mattered more than fantasy. That man had a mission. That man had standards. That man is gone. So let me ask you, when did you decide her yes defines your worth? When did you outsource your value to her text, bubbles, her attention span, her moods? Do you even realize how dangerous that is? You've taken the crown off your own head and placed it at her feet, hoping she'll hand it back. She won't. That's not her job. It's yours. Here's the brutal truth. She didn't reject you. She revealed a weakness you've been hiding. He didn't ghost you. He ghosted himself the moment he stopped chasing purpose. And that's why your hunger never goes away, because it was never about her in the first place. So here's the rule. If he chases her picture, you chase your purpose. If he waits for her to validate him, you validate yourself by building something too solid to ignore. If he checks his phone for dopamine hits, you check your progress for proof of discipline. That's how you win. Not by begging, not by obsessing, but by becoming the man worth reflecting on. Think about it. A woman isn't going to magically make you powerful. She can only respond to the power you already own. She can't resurrect your standards. She can't breathe life into your dead ambition. That's your responsibility. And until you stop confusing the mirror for the medicine, you'll keep chasing shadows instead of substance. So the next time you find yourself hypnotized by her face, stop. Ask, do I really want her? Or do I want the man I used to be before I started groveling? Do I want her approval? Or do I want my own damn respect back? That's the only question that matters. Because at the end of the day, she's not the answer. She never was. The answer is the man who disappeared when you started begging. And until you bring him back, you'll keep mistaking obsession for love, addiction for affection, and weakness for fate. Projection. That's Jung's word for the trap you keep falling into. Desire dressed as destiny. You see her, and you swear she's the answer, the one, the savior. But strip it back, and all you're really looking at is the reflection of the strength you buried and the ambition you abandoned. You think she's magical. She's not. The magic you feel is the echo of your own unlived potential, bouncing off her face like a mirror. You say she completes you, but what if the truth is dark? What if her glow is just the shine of your own crown? the one you threw in the dirt when comfort sedated you. Picture it. A man leans across a table, staring at a woman like she's oxygen. He whispers, "She completes me." He doesn't see what's really happening. She's carrying the ambition he dropped when he stopped pushing, when he traded discipline for ease. She isn't completing him. She's exposing the emptiness he refuses to face. So let me ask you, what if her magic is just your own unlived strength? What if the very qualities you worship in her, the boldness, the confidence, the freedom, are the exact traits you locked away in yourself? Do you see the insanity? You're bowing down to your own abandoned greatness, dressed in her body. Here's the rule. If he projects, you reclaim. If he crowns her as savior, you take the crown back and build yourself into the man who doesn't need saving. If he chases the glow, you generate it. That's how you end the cycle. He didn't fall for her. He fell for the fragments of himself she reflected. She didn't enchant him. She reminded him of the fire he buried under excuses. Every obsession is just a spotlight on the parts of you you refuse to own. And here's the brutal truth. You don't miss her. You miss the fearless version of you she accidentally mirrored. You don't crave her approval. You crave the authority you once carried before you gave it away. That's why even when she's near, the hunger doesn't stop, because it's never really been about her. So the next time you feel that pull, stop and ask, is she really the savior I imagine? Or is she just holding the keys I dropped when I got lazy? Is she really rare, or is she just showing me what I could have been if I hadn't quit on myself? Because once you understand projection, you see the game for what it is. You stop worshipping her, you stop chasing phantoms, and you realize the only thing standing between you and power is the part of you you left in the shadows. The work isn't to win her. The work is to reclaim what you see in her and forge it back into your own identity. Then she's not a goddess. She's just a woman. And you're the man who doesn't project, doesn't beg, doesn't chase. You reclaim. Stop lying to yourself. You didn't lose her because of timing or because she found someone richer, taller, or funnier. You lost her because you lost you. And the worst part, you didn't even notice the moment it happened. So let me put you through the forgotten self-test. Simple, but brutal. What habits did you abandon chasing her? What rituals did you drop the second her attention came into view? What discipline collapsed the moment you thought her approval would make you whole? Think hard. Was it your morning routine? The workout you never missed? The books you devoured? The business ideas you scribbled down at midnight? One by one, you let them rot? And for what? A couple of heart emojis? A few late-night calls? Cheap dopamine traded for iron standards? Let me paint the picture. He used to hit the gym daily. Iron against iron. Discipline like clockwork. Then she texted, "Call me tonight." He cancelled the gym. Told himself it was just one time. But one time became two, became three, became a habit. And then, next week she ghosted. His biceps shrank, but his spirit shrank first. You think she left because she got bored? Wrong. She left because she looked at you and saw a man who had already abandoned himself. He didn't stop attracting her because she changed. He stopped attracting her because he changed. She didn't reject him. She rejected the version of him that replaced weights with waiting and progress with passivity. Do you remember the man who didn't wait for text to feel alive? The man who didn't stare at his phone like a dog waiting for scraps? The man who felt excitement from building, not begging? Where did he go? This is the cost of forgetting yourself. You stop creating. You start consuming. You stop leading. You start waiting. And women, sharp as they are, notice instantly. They can smell when a man has no spine left. They can sense when his worth is hanging on their reply. That's why the attraction evaporates. It's not magic, it's mathematics. So here's your rule. If he waits, you build. If he stares at the screen hoping for her reply, you stare at the grindstone and sharpen yourself. If he trades discipline for her distraction, you trade distraction for discipline. Let's reframe it. He didn't get ghosted, he ghosted his own growth. She didn't lose interest, he lost intensity. And she simply responded to the truth he tried to hide. Ask yourself, how many hours have you wasted in the last month refreshing apps, scrolling chats, replaying conversations that mean nothing? And what could those hours have built? A stronger body, a sharper mind, a clearer mission. But instead you let them rot in her inbox. That's the test. And right now, you're failing. The forgotten self isn't gone forever. He's buried under layers of weakness you piled on top of him. But he's waiting. He's waiting for you to wake up at 5 a.m. again, to lift again, to focus again, to remember that women don't make you powerful. They only reflect the power you already have. So the next time you're tempted to cancel your standards for her schedule, stop. Ask, am I building myself or abandoning myself? Am I choosing discipline or chasing dopamine? Am I leading or am I begging? Because here's the truth. Women don't fall for men who beg. They fall for men who build. Not because building impresses them, but because building transforms you into someone who doesn't need them to feel alive. That's the man she can respect. That's the man you once were, and that's the man you must become again. Stillness is power. Movement is hunger. The man who can sit in silence, comfortable in his own skin, radiates a force women can feel before he even speaks. The man who can't sit still, who fidgets, who floods her phone, bleeds desperation, and women sense urgency like sharks, smell blood. Ask yourself, what happens when she realizes you can't even sit still with yourself? When she sees that your entire worth is tied to how fast she replies? Do you think it looks like interest? To her, it looks like weakness. Picture this. He texted her 14 times in 2 days. Each one shorter, needier, hungrier. At first she smiled. By the 7th message, she rolled her eyes. By the 10th, her attraction was gone. By the 14th, his presence felt like a burden. Her attraction died faster than a phone battery at 1%. And here's the brutal part. He thought his persistence was romantic. It wasn't. It was pressure. He didn't build a connection, he strangled it. He didn't show strength, he broadcast fear. She didn't lose interest randomly. She recoiled because she could feel the void he was trying to fill with her attention. This is the law of stillness. If he moves too fast, you stay still. If he chases every second, you wait every second. Stillness isn't doing nothing, it's doing the hardest thing, controlling your own urge to prove, to push, Women notice the man who can pause, the man who doesn't jump at every notification, the man who isn't begging for her time because his own time already matters. Stillness tells her, I don't need you to complete me. I was complete before you walked in. Think of it like this. He didn't scare her off by texting too much. He scared himself by needing too much. He didn't lose her interest. He lost his frame. And once the frame is broken, the picture collapses. You think motion will save you. You think another message, another call, another plan will fix it. But urgency doesn't create attraction. It kills it. Stillness is magnetic because it shows restraint. It proves you can hold your ground. So ask yourself, can you sit in silence without reaching? Can you hold tension without breaking? Can you let her wonder what you're doing instead of constantly proving what you're feeling? If you can't, you'll always look like a man drowning, reaching for her hand, but the man who floats effortlessly in stillness. he becomes the shore she wants to swim toward. The law of stillness is this: the less you need, the more you attract. Not because women like games, but because stillness is proof of self-respect. The frantic man reveals lack. The calm man reveals abundance. So next time you want to send that 10th text, don't. Sit, breathe, return to your mission. Remember, if he moves too fast, you stay still. Because stillness isn't emptiness, it's power, concentrated. And a man who holds that power doesn't chase, he draws in. Scarcity is a lie. You've been told women are rare, that she's one in a million, that you better hold on or you'll never find another like her. That's the oldest trick in the book. The truth. Discipline creates rarity, not her. A man who throws his attention everywhere is common. A man who rations his energy is rare. That's why she seems valuable, because you hand over value like free samples. Stop giving it all away. When did you forget you're the prize? When did you start acting like her yes was some golden ticket to life? You were already alive before her. You already had value before she appeared. She didn't invent your worth, she reflected the part of you that forgot it. Think about this. He stopped replying to every DM. He stopped liking every story, stopped chasing every low-effort message. Suddenly, one woman who barely noticed him before started begging for his time. What changed? Not her. Him. He didn't become more handsome overnight. He became more selective, and that shift made him magnetic. If he gives it all, you ration it. If he entertains everyone, you entertain no one until they've earned it. Selectivity isn't arrogance, it's proof of standards. Standards scare off the unworthy and attract the worthy. Let me reframe it for you. He didn't lose women by saying no. He gained respect by filtering yes. He didn't become colder, he became clearer. That clarity is what creates attraction. Women aren't drawn to men who beg for entry. They're drawn to men who guard the gate. Why? Because it signals that he has something worth protecting. If every woman has access, no woman values the access. If no one has access, every woman wonders what's behind the door. So let me ask you, why do you think celebrities get chased? Does it look alone? No. It's scarcity. It's access. It's the frame of I don't give my time to everyone. You don't need fame to live by that law. You need discipline. Scarcity isn't natural. It's engineered. You choose who gets your energy. You choose who gets your time. And when you choose carefully, you become the rare one. The man who is selective becomes the man women fight for. Because in a world where men throw validation at every pixel of a selfie, the man who doesn't bow becomes unforgettable. The man who waits, who filters, who withholds until standards are met, that man is rare. Remember this, she's not the prize. You are, not because you're flawless, but because you're disciplined, because you don't hand out what is sacred. Your attention is currency. Stop spending it like coins in a slot machine. Invest it like gold. The rule of selectivity is simple. If he gives it all, you ration it. If he chases everyone, you chase no one. The rarer your time, the higher its value. And the higher its value, the more respect you command, without even asking. So the next time you feel like she's rare, flip the frame. She's not rare, you are. And the moment you live like that, the game changes. Because women don't fall for the man who's available to all. They fall for the man who's available to few. And that man, that's the man you were meant to be. Attraction is not the target. Attraction is the side effect. You've been chasing her eyes when you should have been chasing your edge. The mistake is thinking romance builds respect. It doesn't. Routine What would she see if you actually became the man you pretend to be on dates? What would happen if the discipline you describe wasn't a story but your standard? That's the question you've been avoiding. He rebuilt his mornings. Gym before sunrise, journaling with brutal honesty, cold showers that crushed comfort out of him. In weeks, women noticed him. The way he walked, the way he held space. But here's the kicker. He didn't care, and that was power. He didn't gain women, he gained gravity. He didn't impress her, he resurrected himself. That shift is the foundation you've been missing. If he pretends, you rebuild. If he sells a fantasy, you forge reality. Pretenders get short-term validation, builders get long-term respect. Which one are you? Here's the truth. Women don't chase your lines, they chase your life. A man with no structure is a man with no magnetism. He's a leaf in the wind, easy to ignore, easy to replace. But a man with routine is a man with roots, and roots create weight. Discipline is resurrection. It revives the man you killed when you chose comfort over conquest. It breathes life into the fire that once made you unstoppable. Think back when you were locked into your mission. Did you really care who texted? Or were you too busy winning? That's the state you need to resurrect. Not desperation, not performance, discipline. So here's the law. Stop polishing the mask and start sharpening the blade. Stop acting like the man you wish you were and actually become him. Women don't fall for potential, they fall for presence. And presence is not built in a night. It's built in the daily grind no one claps for. It's the sweat before dawn, the words on the page, the silence you can sit in without reaching for your phone. So ask yourself, what's more attractive, flowers on the second date, or a life so full of fire that she can feel it the second she meets you? Attraction is not the flame, it's the smoke. The flame is discipline. Resurrect it, because the man who rebuilds his standards doesn't need to chase women. He becomes the standard they chase. Timing is not about tactics. Timing is proof of self-respect. You move when you're anchored, not when you're drowning. You move when your standards are solid, not when fear screams in your chest. Do you want her, or do you want relief from loneliness? That's the test. One answer creates desperation. The other creates control. He kissed her in panic. His hands shook. His energy screamed. She pulled back, not because she hated him, but because she felt the hunger. Months later, after he rebuilt himself, he kissed her in silence, in stillness. She leaned in. She felt the difference. If he rushes, you wait. If he lunges for approval, you breathe into stillness. The man who can hold his urge is the man she wants to lean toward. He didn't miss his chance, he revealed his weakness. He didn't lose her, he lost himself in the urgency. Reframe this. She didn't reject him, she rejected the version of him that didn't respect his own timing. Most men think, if I don't move now, I'll lose her. Wrong. If you move without standards, you already lost her. Women don't remember the moment you hesitated. They remember the man you embodied. So here's the law. Don't move to escape silence. Move to extend strength. Don't break stillness out of fear. Break stillness out of certainty. Ask yourself, what's more magnetic? A man who forces the kiss because he can't sit with tension, or a man who sits so grounded that she begs for release? Women feel the gap. They always feel the difference. Timing is self-respect on display. When your standards are set, your moves are sharp. When your fear is loud, your moves are sloppy. Which one do you want her to remember? You think you're not attractive yet? Good. That's not a curse. It's your leverage. Attraction is not something you beg for. It's something you build. Every rep, every page, every dollar stacked is a brick in the foundation of the man you're becoming. What if not yet is the greatest position you could be in? What if the gap between who you are and who you're supposed to be is the exact pressure that forges you? A broke student worked 2 years in silence. No parties, no flexing, no attention, just grind. When he rose, women called him an overnight success. Overnight. No, he didn't appear suddenly. He emerged because he kept building when no one was watching. If he despairs, you invest. If he drowns in self-pity, you double down in self-mastery. The man who waits for attraction never gets it. The man who builds attraction from discipline commands it without asking. He didn't lack attention, he lacked foundation. He didn't lose women, he lost time chasing them instead of becoming undeniable. Reframe that. Women didn't overlook him. They overlooked the boy he was, not the man he was becoming. So here's the truth. Body, discipline, and vision. These 3 create the gravity you're missing. Without them, you're a balloon, light drifting, forgettable. With them, you're a planet. Everything pulls toward you. Ask yourself, is it really that you're unattractive, or is it that you've been lazy with your standards? Is it really women rejecting you, or life rejecting the version of you that refuses to grow? Not yet doesn't mean never. It means you're in training. And the man in training is dangerous, because the moment his work compounds, everyone feels it. You don't need to be attractive yet. You need to be undeniable tomorrow, and that starts with what you build today. You don't need her crown, you forge your own. The man begging for validation is a servant. The man who builds self-respect sits on a throne no one can take. What's rarer, a girl's text or your discipline at 5 a.m.? What carries more weight, her approval or the iron in your spine when you look in the mirror and know you didn't break your word to yourself? He once begged. He waited by the phone. He measured his worth by the speed of her replies. Now he chooses. Now he walks into a room and the air shifts, because his respect for himself is louder than any compliment she could give. She feels it before he speaks. If he begs, you build a throne. If he collapses, you construct a crown brick by brick from discipline, standards, and silence. That's the law. He didn't lose her. He lost himself in the chase. He didn't need her love. He needed his own respect. And once he claimed it, women saw him differently. Not because he changed for them, but because he stopped bending for anyone. Ask yourself, what's more magnetic? A man who scrambles for scraps, or a man who knows he is the feast? Women don't follow men who kneel. They follow men who stand, men who rule their own world before daring to invite someone into it. The crown of self-respect is heavier than any affection you think you're missing. But once it rests on your head, you'll never bow again. He didn't ignore you. He forgot himself. The moment a man loses his center, he stops hearing his own voice. That's why he doesn't answer. Not because you're invisible, but because he became invisible to himself. She didn't reject you. She revealed your weakness. Rejection is not proof you're unworthy. It's proof you lacked standards strong enough to hold. When the frame cracks, she simply shows you the mirror. Do you see weakness, or do you see a call to rise? He didn't lose her. He abandoned discipline. Love doesn't vanish overnight. It rots slowly when the gym is skipped, the vision is blurred, and the hunger is numbed. He didn't lose her affection. He lost the gravity that kept her orbiting. She didn't change. You stopped leading. Women follow strength. They respond to clarity. If she drifts, it's because you stopped steering the ship. Don't blame the ocean when you drop the wheel. He didn't fall out of love. He fell out of standards. Love without standards is infatuation. Standards without love is direction. Which one are you standing? Picture this. A man waits by his phone, thumb twitching, praying for a text that never comes. His world shrinks to a glowing screen. Then, months later, the same man wakes before dawn, trains, works, builds. Women start noticing. She reaches out, but now he doesn't need the phone. He is the signal. If he folds, you stand taller. If he breaks, you harden. If he begs, you build. That's the trade. He didn't lose respect because of her silence. He lost respect because he silenced himself. He didn't suffer heartbreak because she walked. He suffered because he forgot how to walk forward alone. Ask yourself what stings more, her absence or your lack of discipline. What's heavier, her opinion or the weight of your wasted potential? The truth is brutal, but it's clean. Every loss you think came from her started with you, and every crown you want won't come from her. It's forged by you. Hammer this into your skull. She didn't take anything. You gave it away. And the moment you stop giving yourself cheap, you start living rare. Attraction isn't about identity, it's about behavior. She's not a prize, not an enemy. She's a human being with full agency. Do you want power, or do you want partnership? That choice defines you. Picture this. A guy rehearses lines in the mirror, thinking he's slick. He speaks to them. She feels the script. She leaves. He didn't get rejected. He got exposed. If he manipulates, you respect. If he pressures, you pause. Consent isn't optional. It's the baseline. He didn't fail because women are unfair. He failed because he ignored their choice. He didn't lack game. He lacked respect. Your work isn't to trick her, it's to refine yourself, until respect and attraction walk hand in hand.